Beef is A24's new Netflix show created by first-time showrunner Lee Sun-jin and starring an almost all-Asian cast headed up by Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong. The 10-episode run begins with a bang as Yeun's Danny and Wong's Amy end up in an incident of road rage. Their chance encounter sees the two of them in each other find the perfect vessel for channeling the pent-up rage that they'd been experiencing. But as the series progresses, we see how fueling this causes their lives to unravel in increasingly devastating ways. The show isn't afraid to get into the weeds of how damaging not identifying or tackling mental health struggles is, and it blows up about as emphatically as possible. On paper, if I told you right now how it escalated and what actually happened, you'd probably think that it's ridiculous. But when you're viewing it as a metaphor for the corrosive nature of letting mental health struggles manifest as rage and not tackling things, it's extremely powerful illustration of just how relentless life can be when you're going through this rut. And as I describe it, it probably sounds like a really heavy watch, but in typical A24 fashion, Jin manages to tell this in an effortlessly. And I know, again, if you haven't seen the show or heard of anything about it, the word fun might seem strange to throw in here, but it's a fun show, and it's also really compelling. First off, the show's runtime is an absolute treat. The longest episode in here is 39 minutes, and that's just one, but most clock in around the 30-minute mark, making it a really easy watch. Jin is able to seamlessly hop between moments of extreme profundity, like characters having a near-death experience, with some much-needed childish humor. So to give you some examples, like this show gives us a powerful quote like, "Everything fades, nothing lasts, we're just a snake eating its own tail." But it also gives us, "That looks like herpes poo-pooed." That's kind of the show that it is. It's both sides, which again really, really works. It reminds me in numerous ways, even though the story is completely different, of another A24 project in the incredible movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. On a surface level, obviously, look, it's a great platform for Asian actors to take front and center in a story that isn't necessarily about being Asian. This is inclusive and stuff everyone can relate to, although there are some great cultural one-liners and references in there, like at one stage, one character says to another, "You're proof that Western therapy doesn't work on Eastern minds." But also on a deeper level, what made Everything Everywhere All at Once work for me was taking micro emotions that we all feel and go through on a day-to-day basis and then just stretching them out to almost ridiculous, farcical, crazy, but massively entertaining lengths. It also blends harrowing moments with earned and needed moments of levity in a similar way. For example, in the last episode, there's a conversation at one stage between two crows that was very reminiscent of the rock scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which everyone will instantly know if you've seen that. The entire final episode, in fact, for me, felt like it would have fit in that movie. And it's such a swing to essentially end on a bottle episode that essentially leaves the storylines that is built up to that final episode just behind and just focuses on the two main characters. Mainly because the storylines have been brought to their conclusion, so you don't feel like you've missed anything in episode 9. That will no doubt upset some people because, again, it feels so different to the show that's preceded it. But for me, it was a risk that totally paid off. And I think that's likely going to end up being one of my favorite episodes of television this year. Confident, ballsy swings like this work because of the characters and their relationships, though. The world feels real and lived in a way that One Fine Morning, a movie that I just spoke about, really doesn't, and the relationships arrive totally fleshed out. In particular, you've got Yeun and Wong at the core of everything. Yeun is absolutely crackling and taking his already world-beating talent to a new level with an intensity and a looseness that we've never seen from him before. And keep in mind that most of us first met Yeun as a key character in a story about the apocalypse in The Walking Dead. So you'd think it doesn't get much more intense than that, but Yeun doing road rage, apparently more so. Wong has to wear more hats as Amy. She's a millionaire entrepreneur, mother and wife with what many would see as an idyllic life. So she has a bigger kind of arc to go on, whereas Danny's circumstances make him a little bit more primed for a nervous breakdown. They both absolutely smash it, and their chemistry, which is central to the show, is absolutely electric whenever they share the screen. It's not just them, though. The supporting cast all play their part too. From David Cho playing Danny's cousin Isaac with a friendly menace about him. Young Manzino is likably stunted as Danny's brother Paul. Patty Estuke's Fumi is a perfect audience avatar as Amy's mother-in-law who sees through everyone's bullshit while being totally blind to her own. And then you've got Remy Holtz-June, who is maybe the single most adorable child character in the history of television. She is great. I love June. I'd watch a June spin-off, to be honest. She's amazing. It's a show firing on all cylinders. Even the soundtrack is on fire, with a 90s noughties flair showing how the characters are stuck in a period of their lives when things seem much simpler. Beef is a refreshing throwback to the times when Netflix made original, unique, thoughtful content that you wouldn't be able to get on mainstream TV. It's an absolute treat that crept up on us, but you need to make it your business to go and check it out if you haven't already. It's one of the best series of television you're going to watch this year. I absolutely loved it.